What's good, YouTube? It's your boy, Blue Blood Sports TV, back at y'all with another one. So, legendary 8 division world champion, Filipino iconic superstar boxer, Manny Pac-Man Pacquiao. He was asked by a Filipino reporter, why did he choose to fight a young, hungry, undefeated world champion who's the unified WBC IBF welterweight world champion, and he's widely considered by many to be top 3 for pound fighters in the world, and Errol the True Spence Jr. And Manny Pacquiao, he was asked, Errol Spence, he wanted this fight. He asked for this fight. He called you in the ring after his fight with Mikey Garcia. You didn't accept then. What about Errol Spence made you accept now? And Manny Pacquiao, he responded, sometimes you have to be careful what you ask for. Wow. Now, obviously, it had to be translated because it was in a different language outside of English. Okay. And so, with that said, Manny Pacquiao, he then took to his social media and he posted a clip of Errol Spence in the ring after his fight and calling Manny Pacquiao in the ring. And Manny Pacquiao, he titled it August 21st. Now, August 21st is when the fight is scheduled to take place. Okay. It was a huge surprise that this fight came out of nowhere. Most people expected Manny Pacquiao to take, either Mikey Garcia, 4 division world champion, Mexican superstar boxer, who at the time, ironically, was fighting, Errol Spence, and Errol Spence called him in the ring. Okay. And he put a clip up, and he put this up, and he says, August, you can see it right there, August 21st, Fox pay-per-view, Errol Spence, Manny Pacquiao. Okay, so you see he put it up. That was a day ago. Okay, and this clip that was sent to me about him doing this interview in the Philippines or wherever he's at, but he was with definitely a Filipino reporter, and asked him, about Errol Spence and why did he accept the fight, and Errol Spence calling him out, calling him in the ring. That's the clip Manny Pacquiao chose to put up behind that, and he says, "Be careful what you ask for." And he started to giggle. Manny Pacquiao, he has a sense of humor. Okay, he started to giggle. He said, "Sometimes you got to be careful what you ask for," and he started to giggle, right, alluding to Errol Spence may have gotten himself into some, a little too deep. Manny Pacquiao is a legend. Fought some of the greatest fighters in the world. Obviously, he's an 8 division world champion. He's a surefire Hall of Famer. He's an icon within the sport of boxing. So, with that said, Manny Pacquiao is 42 years of age still. The last time we saw him in the ring was 2 years ago when he took on and defeated then undefeated unified WBC, WBA welterweight world champion superstar boxer Keith one-time Thurman, and he got a split decision. He dropped Keith Thurman in the first round. Then in the 10th round, he badly hurt Keith Thurman to the body. He looked like he was on the verge of stopping Keith Thurman. So with that said, Manny Pacquiao, I can't play the clip obviously because of copyrights. So I can't play what he said, you know, and you know, but that was July of 2019 when we saw Manny Pacquiao last in the ring. So he was 40 years old then. Father Time is undefeated. He stands at 5'5" with a 67-inch arm reach, 42 years of age, and not being in the ring for 2 years. Errol Spence stands at 5'9.5" with a 72-inch arm reach. So he's going to have a 5-inch height, nearly a 5-inch height advantage, and he's going to have a 5-inch arm reach advantage. And they're both southpaws. So I did an interesting interview, which you'll see I'll post later, with Antonio Tarver, who knocked out Roy Jones, who's a southpaw and who understands and specializes in what it takes to be victorious as a southpaw. What advantage you have, what disadvantage you have. And I'm going to upload that later. And Antonio Tarver, he breaks down Errol Spence and Manny Pacquiao's fight and what advantages and what disadvantages each fighter would have. So with that said, Errol Spence is definitely going to have a height advantage over Manny Pacquiao. He's going to have an arm reach advantage, and he's 11 years younger. He's bigger, he's stronger, okay? And you have guys like boxing pundit Max Kellerman, who feels like Errol Spence is going to knock out Manny Pacquiao. Okay, you have Floyd Mayweather, who's the biggest rival of Manny Pacquiao. He says he's going to give Errol Spence some tips to assure he's victorious against Manny Pacquiao. So Errol Spence is younger, and what give Manny Pacquiao issues has always been technically skilled boxers. Technically skilled boxers that are disciplined and can seize the moment. When I say seize the moment, I mean technically skilled boxers that can slow the moment down, not get overwhelmed. Okay, Manny Pacquiao can overwhelm you with the moment because every time you step in the ring with Manny Pacquiao, for the better part of his career, it's a huge fight. So it's a huge crowd, it's a huge viewers, it's a lot of viewers, a lot of eyes on you. The moment is huge, and Manny Pacquiao, it's another day in the office for him. But for his opponent, sometimes the moment can be overwhelming. And in this case, Errol Spence has been in some big fights now. He's done 3 straight pay-per-views. He's been in front of some huge crowds in his hometown, Dallas, Texas, at AT&T Stadium, Cowboy Stadium, Arlington, where Manny Pacquiao, he opened up that stadium. He fought twice. He fought Joshua Clottey and he fought Antonio Margarito there. So he knows that stadium very well. He was the first boxing match at that stadium. So obviously he knows the stadium very, very well. So with that stated, Manny Pacquiao, is used to, these huge fights. But Errol Spence, what gives Manny Pacquiao issues is technically skilled boxers. And Errol Spence is a very technically sound boxer. He has a beautiful jab. And when you have a beautiful jab, you can nullify what Manny Pacquiao does great. Because Manny Pacquiao, I personally asked Manny Pacquiao, what is going to take for you to be victorious against Errol Spence? And Manny Pacquiao, he told me the key for him to beat Errol Spence is right here. Let's listen to what he had to say.
You use speed, that would be your approach because, you're similar stats as Mikey Garcia.
Speed.
Right.
That's the most important thing. When you fight with a bigger opponent, speed is the key. Speed is the key. You cannot compete with power because he's bigger than you. See? Because he's bigger than you. You can level up his power because he's bigger than you. You're moving up to another bigger opponent. But the most important thing when you fight, that's my strategy, that's my experience. Make sure that you are faster than him. The speed is the key. I just want to continue and keep in the top of boxing.
So you see, he even told me his speed is the key to nullify the size difference, the size disadvantage that he has with Errol Spence. That was his breakdown. When I asked him how would he compete with Errol Spence, he said he has to make sure that his speed is on point, so that that's the difference. He could level out. So he said that he can, make it an equal fight by him being overwhelmingly fast and Errol Spence competing with his strength, right? And he believes speed beats power. So with that said, what beats speed is timing. And Errol Spence has great timing. He's very technical, very sharp. He has great timing. And even in his last fight, Errol Spence, he stated that he was nowhere near his full 100% himself, but he knew his technically skilled, sound boxing skills can beat two-division world champion, Danny Swift Garcia, who's a Hall of Famer. So that just lets you know the mindset and the skill set that Errol Spence has, right? He felt like at 80% of himself, he can beat Danny Garcia, and he did. Unanimous decision, Danny Garcia. So he definitely has the skill set, and that's what he's going to need to offset, Manny Pacquiao. Manny Pacquiao feels like his speed will offset Errol Spence's size. So Errol Spence's technical skill set is going to have to offset Manny Pacquiao's speed. Errol Spence, he believes his timing will beat Manny Pacquiao. He's back with his strength and condition coach. Obviously, he's the bigger, stronger man. He's going to look to put a lot of pressure on Manny Pacquiao, I believe. But in the early half of the fight, I believe that Errol Spence is going to use his timing, his technical prowess, his skill set to be able to judge and gauge the speed and the power of Manny Pacquiao. Because Manny Pacquiao himself has a lot of power, and speed equals power on top of that. So, that can this is going to be a very interesting fight, as no guy is going to have an advantage from the southpaw stance. As I stated, I'm going to drop a video of Antonio Tarver breaking that down, two southpaws. So with that said, I can't wait to see this fight. But I believe that Errol Spence youth, his determination, his understanding that this is a legacy fight for him. This is somewhat of a legacy fight for Manny Pacquiao, but his legacy is already cemented, win, lose, or draw. He's already had 7 losses, 2 draws. He's been knocked out. He's been outboxed. Beating Errol Spence will heighten his legacy and his myth in 20 years. But losing to Errol Spence doesn't change the outlook of Manny Pacquiao. Errol Spence beating Manny Pacquiao changes the outlook of and the trajectory of his career moving forward in 20 years. And losing to Manny Pacquiao changes his career in the near future, right? So people say, well, he was exposed by a 42-year-old Manny Pacquiao. He beats Manny Pacquiao. He won't get the full credit for beating a legend, because they'll say he was somewhat over the hill. But in 20 years, he'll have a notch of a legend in his feather, in his cap. So it's more believed that Errol Spence will be more hungry to win this fight and dig deep. Not that Manny Pacquiao won't dig deep, because we've never seen him not dig deep. So Manny Pacquiao definitely will dig deep. But I believe that it means more to Errol Spence to beat Manny Pacquiao than for Manny Pacquiao to beat Errol Spence. So let's see how this unfolds and plays out. Make sure you hit the like button. Drop a comment in the comment section. Let me know what y'all think. Y'all already know what it is. It's your boy Blue, Blue Blood Sports TV. Hate, like, comment, and subscribe. If you haven't subscribed, hit the subscribe button, hit the like button, hit the bell icon to get all the new notifications. Follow me on Instagram at Blue Blood Sports TV, all one word. Y'all already know what it is. Shout out to the entire LDBC. Shout out to New Media. Shout out to Black Media Row. Make sure you like and share these videos. That's all I got for y'all. Peace.